Knowledge is like a bow, and our mind is an arrow. In one of the great texts, the master says, he gave that example that knowledge is a bow and mind is an arrow. So if the arrow hits the target and stay at the target, the knowledge is revealed. It can be done here and now. If the bullet is hit on a target and deflected, it is a waste. Similarly, see the beauty of the metaphor. So it means the mind not only should hit the target but stay there. So when the mind stays there, that is the meaning the mind merges into real self, and the knowledge of the real self is revealed. Now we can understand why to prepare the mind and how we succeed in meditation. That is why I have been saying the mind. Couple of people have sent an email that they are not, they have their other engagements. So, so you see the clarity of our teachings of the masters. And that clarity will come when you start applying these principles in your daily life. Otherwise, what will happen? 1 hour of peace, 23 hours of running, anxiety, duality. Why? Because of the wrong notions. So, last week, that is why, whether we are a teacher or not, apply those principles. Whoever apply those principles to your father, he had been my student. So, apply them. So, when you apply them, first thing, what happens? You see that your all running will stop. You will find the running. I will tell you why. You know it why, but I'm just repeating so that you will realize it. I know you. So that is why I said last week that listen to all these so that we can move a step further from the next week. Better to listen from the first lesson to until now, extract the main points from there, and check how you can apply in thought, speech, and action. And Lara, you can just start giving a brief talk on those in all your sessions and see what happens because repetition in the mind will make it focus. If you are not a teacher, still we can apply in our daily life, in our personal life, in our professional life. So it means what this mind will rewind these principles in my personal, professional, social, family life. That will bring about a change. That will bring about a change. So when we start doing this, the Viveka or the discernment will be settled in the mind. And when this discernment is settled in the mind, we can see the clarity. Do you understand still? Do you still recall what is clarity, understanding? Viveka gives me a clarity, understanding. And that clarity, I will say same example, neighbor's house and my house. So what I did in that clarity, I classified. This is not me and this is me. See, this is my house, that is neighbor's house. You see another clarity, this is body and I have a mind. So by regularly applying in daily life will help us settle in the Viveka, and that will make us the highest level of a seeker. That is what we have done last week. So Viveka is nothing but the cognitive ability. Cognitive. Cognitive. What is that cognition? I see you, so I cognize you. That is what you see. We use the common terminology, common word. I recognize you. I know you. Cognitive ability. So that gives us a very clear understanding. So once we have understood this Viveka, now understand how we can apply the Viveka in our daily life. There are about 25 steps of that. I will pick up couple of them. First thing to understand, this mind is like a river. Patanjali explained. But this river has two flow. One flow from higher to the lower and from the lower to the higher. This is how the first thing to understand. So when we ask this mind to flow upward, we are doing Viveka. So what that means actually in daily life. So you wake up in the morning and just become aware. What are your likes and dislikes? Is the mind moving towards likes and dislikes? What is pleasant to you? This is one flow. And you have to introduce Viveka there. Like neighbor's house, my house. So neighbor's house is what I like, what I dislike, what is pleasant to me, what is craving, and me, what is right and good. That is the path of we use the term Shreyas and Prayas. Shreyas and Prayas. To flow of the mind. So can I become aware and have a clarity in my thought, in my speech, in my action? Whether I follow the path of prayers, whether I follow the path of the Shreyas. You follow the path of the Shreyas internally. Internally, I would say, in mentally, you are thinking like this. You will discover that your anxiety drops, your running mind drops, your distraction drops. Such an easy process now, after understanding. So this is one way to do the Viveka in our daily life. Think of this pleasure. I get a pleasure in pasta. One day, first day is 100% pleasure. You may think that I'm an Italian, so it's okay. so, so one day I'm eating it 100% pleasure. Second day it is 90%. 10th day 0%. The time comes, the mind says, I don't want. If I'm repeating this, so it means what? The repeat pleasure reduces it. And we have the experiences in our daily life. You buy a new car. First day, second day, third day, after 7 days, it becomes so casual. So I have to find it out. I have to live into that Viveka. So when you live into that Viveka or discernment, you sit in meditation, the mind is not distracted. And that mind will succeed in meditation. So it can apply to your personal life, it can apply to your professional life, social life, family life. So now, goals and means Viveka. Discernment of goals and means. You have to think of it. Wealth is a means to meet the basic necessities of our life. And what is the end? End is happiness. So now we understand that the wealth cannot buy the happiness. The wealth becomes the goal of life. It does not become the means. Are you getting it? Now reverse the position. Goal of life is wealth and the end is happiness. Goal should be happiness. Goal of life should be happiness, and let the means be the wealth. Just think of it. Think of it. If you reverse the position, what happens? So what is going to happen? The goal remains happiness when you wake up in the morning. And in happiness, you want to earn the wealth. Viveka. Anytime, anytime. Relationship. Apply the same thing in relationship. So once Viveka is done with reference to the goals and the means and the end. That is how we understand means and the end. So what happens? Once you follow the Viveka here, your running will stop. Still, you continue to work. What is the harm in earning wealth in peace and happiness? Otherwise, we accumulate dividend. I'm running and I have a lot of stress because I have to earn, and ultimately, our dividend in terms of many illnesses as we grow older. And even after 70 or 80 years of age, we carry the same notion. I have not earned enough. Or I have earned enough, Bill Gates. Still, the unsatisfaction is there. So that is why we have to be careful when we want to secure total happiness by applying Viveka in our daily life. And simple way to understand goals in life is a part of life. Goal of life is common to every human being. Just understand, pick up this point. Every day you wake up in the morning, my goal of life is to live, think, speak, and act in peace and happiness. Whatever I do, whatever I will do. And then start following. My Guruji used to say, before starting the work, during the work, after the work, check your mind. Is your mind in peace? You have achieved Viveka. And then tell me whether you have any kind of stress or anxiety. It is, you see, it is a preparation. You get rid of these anxiety, reaction, fully busyness, running, and then you sit in meditation. Meditation then becomes a play and a fun. Another Viveka, I remember, it is the Viveka between the whole and the part. Anything that is part cannot secure permanent peace and happiness. Is body whole or part? Think of it. Body is a part. It consists of, either you say system and organs, or further go down. It consists of tissues, then cells, then protoplasm. It is part. So our master used to say, now think of it. I am real self with the body, or I am body with the real self. Which one is true? Accordingly, you will find that you follow the path of the Shreyas or prayers, you follow the path of the pleasure or happiness. It will make it clear. Are you getting it? I am real self with the body. One statement. These are wrong notions that is present in our mind. So we have to correct these notions. I am the body with the real self. Which one is true? That I remains the same. When I was born as a baby, became child, adult, young, and old, I remains one, unchanging part. What is unchanging is always whole. What is changing is always part. Science says we have an understanding that every 7 years this body is totally replaced. Every cell is replaced. Science says that if I rub my hand, I have already killed 50,000 cells. And another 50,000 cells have replaced. So now from that idea, understanding, think of it. I am the body with the real self, or I am the real self with the body. I'm the real self with the body. Viveka. Look at this understanding, how the masters bring that understanding. Same thing you can apply. Same thing you can apply. I am a man first or husband first. I was not husband when I was born. As I grew older, so man is first. That from the man you go little deeper. I'm an individual. So I drop man and the women from wrong notions that I have created. Sometime, you already know, and I also know, man's ego is little, always try to do nasty things in relationship. So can I get rid of this? Being an individual. Now individual, think of it. Individual is indivisible. What is indivisible? Real self, not the body. So I drop the notion that I'm a man or a woman. I drop the notion that I'm first husband or a wife or a brother or a sister or a daughter. So that idea, you simply drop this idea and start communicating with the people, and you will find that you are happy. You see that how the Viveka is to be applied in our daily working. Sam, you should talk to the boss as a that he is also an individual and you are also an individual. Why to worry? So there is no fear. There is no fear. You are talking based on the expertise that you have. No, what will happen? Boss has called me, nothing will happen. He is also a man. What will happen if I meet the Bill Gates? What will happen? He is also a man and I'm also a man. You see? So we create confusion through our wrong notions. That Viveka is to be applied at all the levels. Yes, then apply the Viveka in between sorrow and happiness. The constantly alternating pain, pleasure, likes, dislikes on one hand, and that is neighbors, and my inner peace and happiness on the other. I believe you're getting it. Now it's not a big deal. We have already covered a lot of stuff before. So I'm summarizing. Another way of doing the Viveka is I am the body or I am the owner of the body. It is like I'm the car or I'm the owner of the car. I'm the smartphone or I'm owner of the smartphone. So I have to simply think. Why I have to think? Because the mind is heavily conditioned by the society, by the education, by the culture, and that is what we are. How can we explain us? Huh? If I explain I is equal to some cherished thoughts, some reactive thoughts, some wrong notions, some feelings, this is what I am. I have to get rid of this wrong notion. I am the body or I am the owner of the body. I am the emotion or I am the owner of the emotion. So if I'm the owner of the emotion, put it into the garage for sale. Put it into the garage for sale. Just say in your mind, oh, I reacted yesterday. Okay, that reaction is now in the garage. To throw out, to put it into the garbage. So even when you start thinking, you are separating in your mind because you have to think to separate. If you do not think to separate, they will continue to be with you. I'm summarizing that Viveka. I told you, Viveka is a cognitive ability. Cognitive ability means clarity, understanding. What is this clarity? I classified. So after classification, I understand this is me and this is not me. That is enough. So when you repeat these thought pattern in your mind, you are replacing those thoughts that is causing the anxiety. So I am the body, or I am the owner of the body. I am the emotion, or I am. So this is what happens. So these are the different ways to cultivate the power of discernment in our daily life. And I have already told you there are three hidden practices when you are constantly learning the knowledge from the tradition by the teacher. This is what is known as satsang, and that is why we are meeting weekly, couple of days, in which we learn the principles, we apply these principles. But how you apply the principles until you remember, you cannot apply the principles. So you wake up in the morning and the mind is moving in one flow of the prayers, what I like, what is pleasant to me. So you are increasing your craving, reaction, anger, anxiety, duality. They are bound to remain there. So that is why this tradition says that we should continue to listen to the principles from the teacher, and at the same time second part is to applying in daily life. That becomes the karma yoga. I will take up the what is the secret of karma yoga later. I leave it there. But another viveka. Now once you follow all these viveka discernment, then comes the real viveka. I have to discern between what is real and what is unreal. Real is real self only. What is the definition of real self? That is unchanging, that is pure consciousness, that is independent of anything in the world. What is non self and false self? That is constantly changing. That creates a veil over the real self. Now check. Body is changing, yes. Mind is changing, yes. Intellect is changing, yes. Ego is changing, yes. So it means I am the real self with the body, with the mind, with the intellect, with the ego. Live your life and see what happens with that awareness. This is my house, not that is neighbors. So I have to do nothing with the neighbors. So I used to talk about we have 6 neighbors. Oh, everyone has 6 neighbors. What are the 6 neighbors? The outermost neighbor is the world of people, object, home, wealth, things, smartphone, etc., etc. That is your first neighbor. What is the second neighbor? Second neighbor is your physical body. What is the third neighbor? Third neighbor is your energy. Your energy goes down and you say, I am tired. No, I am real self with the energy. Do you see that? Do you see it with the clarity? When you see it with the clarity, okay, I feel tired, so let me take some food. But it doesn't mean that I should be depressed. Third neighbor. Fourth neighbor, mind. Fifth neighbor, intellect and the ego. And the sixth neighbor is ignorance. So when I know that I am the real self with these 6 neighbors, I have to remove the ignorance. You are centered in meditation. One more point that you need to do, then I will pick up from the next week. I will pick up what exactly is the dispassion and how to achieve that. So one thing that we must be very clear, that discernment in the mind happens by fact and the truth. I'm not simply talking about these principles, no, follow these and condition your mind. No. Fact and the truth is present in the discernment. If fact and the truth is not present in the discernment, then forget about this journey. Then it is better not to practice. We are already conditioned. We are already conditioned, so live your conditioned life. So the master, every master says in our tradition that the knowledge that we get in the Eastern wisdom cannot be changed because it is based on the fact and the truth. So it means in every discernment we apply the fact and the truth. The way I said, body is changing, yes, constantly changing, yes. I was born, father gave me the name Girish. I was Girish at 1 year old, 5 year old, 10 year old, 20 year old. But now look at it, 10 year old. After every 7 year, my body is totally, every cell is replaced. So am I the body? No, I remain present. I am still there. Then 14 years old, two times the body has changed. I'm still there. 21, 28. So look at it. So it means the Viveka, the discernment, must work with the right knowledge, with the fact, with the valid means of knowledge. When we work with the valid means of knowledge, then what we realize, what we realize by regular applying these principles, what we realize that real self inside is unchanging. It is pure consciousness. It is of the nature of peace and happiness. Then what happens? Once I claim that I am the body with the real self, I created the false self. Then comes the secondary self. That causes lot of problems that do not exist. First, I am the body, then I am the husband. Now, can you tell me any man or a woman has any problem? But can you tell me the husband and a wife don't have a problem? So, what is that husband? Where is the husband in? Where is the wife? Where is the boss? Where is the son? Where is the father? It exists in my mind. That is what happens. For the near and dear ones, we fight. Far ones and strangers, what? Why have to fight? I claim that I'm so dear. I'm so near to you. And still I have differences. Look at this way of discernment, separating. Let me drop the husband in me. Let me talk to my honey. See that? Let me drop the idea of being a teacher. Let me talk to you. So I understand your point of view. I accept your point of view all the time. And from there I start. Look at it. So the way you say false self is created when I declare, my mind declares that I am the body with the real self. And because I am the body, I have to relate to you. Then I become husband and wife. Do you see the very finer print in the mind? And that finer print is the wrong notion, needs to be removed. And once they are removed, we are ready for a higher journey. What happens, last point, what happens in the ultimate level of Viveka? One great master, J. Krishnamurti, used to say, it is choiceless awareness. Viveka takes you to the state of choiceless awareness. And what is choiceless awareness according to Buddha? Objectless state of the mind. What is the objectless state of the mind according to Patanjali? It is the highest state of meditation. From understand. So this is the importance of Viveka in our daily life. It helps our personal, professional, social life. Not only, it also helps to rediscover ourselves. So I will be using other different types of Viveka in this session also, but we will take up the discussion in our next session. So now let us start our journey of